Welcome. You're listening to the Louie Minor Show. I'm your host, Commissioner Louie Minor. Today is January 7th, 2024. This is our first episode of the year, so let's get started. So, Happy New Year 2024 to everyone. It's going to be an exciting year, that's for sure. I'm excited about this. This is an election year, a presidential election year. We're going to have debates, primary voting, runoff election voting. So a lot of stuff that's going to happen real quick. And I want to be there so you'll understand what's going on here locally with our local elections and with our state and obviously our presidential elections. So let's begin real quick like we always do for the agenda for the Bell County Commissioners Court for January 8th, 2024. We have a light agenda. First thing on the agenda is the invocation, then Pledge of Allegiance to United States and the state of Texas. Consent agenda items. Consider approval of the minutes of the January 2nd, 2024 meeting of the Commissioners Court. Personnel budget amendments, claims, account payable, payroll, restitution, jury pay. Item D, receive for filing with the county clerk certificate of continuing education of completion from the Bell County Tax Assessor Collector Shay Ludicky pursuant to SB 546, Section 6.231D of the Texas Property Tax Code, and E, designate the Journey Church as a Bell County polling location at 5300 Bunny Trail, Killeen, Texas, replacing Fire Station Number 9 at 5400 Bunny Trail, Killeen, Texas, pursuant to Section 43.002 of the Texas Election Code. Then we have County Engineer. A, consider and approve a final plat of Wrangell Edition, being a 4.980 acre, one lot, one block subdivision located in Precinct 3. Consider and approve a final plat of Dutton Land, being a 1.0366 acre, one lot, one block subdivision located in Bell County, Precinct 3. And C, consider and approve final plat of White's property, being a 1.003 acre, one lot, one block subdivision located in Bell County, Precinct 3. And that is everything for the regular scheduled meeting. Then we have the workshop for that day, beginning right after Commissioners Court meeting, reports and updates from various county officials and departments. We have capital improvement project updates, jail expansion, temporary jail, museum archive building, Killeen Annex, and discuss FY 2023 CIP plan. Then discuss short-term rental update, and then discuss specialty courts, grant applications for Veterans Treatment Court, Drug Court, and new mental health court. And that is everything. It doesn't appear that we have anything on the afternoon agenda. So that is what we have scheduled for the workshop and regular agenda for the Bell County Commissioners Court of January 8th, 2024. Well, yesterday was the January 6th, the third anniversary of the riot at the Capitol. And I remember watching it live on TV as it was happening and just in complete disbelief and wondering what's going on. how is this being allowed to happen with all the resources in the D.C. area, all the law enforcement, military, National Guard, Homeland Security, FBI, everything, that was allowed to happen. And then thinking to myself that if that group of people were people of color marching, that it would be different, that the police probably would have shot a lot of people. I think a lot of people understand that, but that's not what happened, and they were able to get everything under control and finish certifying the presidential election of 2020. But we have all these lawsuits surrounding it. I forgot how many. I think it's 90 something indictments on the former president, Donald Trump. And a lot of these are making its way into the election now. And let me play you this little clip that was on ABC News this morning with George Stephanopoulos, just to kind of have even more revelations of what happened that day.
As we mark 3 years since the January 6th insurrection, the 2024 election is shaping up to be a referendum on what happened that day and what it means for the future of our democracy. That was the theme of President Biden's first campaign speech Friday as he blasted Donald Trump for January 6th.
Trump did nothing. It was among the worst derelictions of duty by a president in American history. An attempt to overturn a free and fair election by force and violence.
And in Iowa this weekend, Trump responded with repeated lies about the 2020 election and calls to free the convicted January 6th rioters whom he called hostages. This morning, we have exclusive new reporting on what Trump was doing at the White House on January 6th as the rioters surged through the Capitol. Chief Washington correspondent John Carl starts us off. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. Donald Trump's closest advisors in the White House have provided Jack Smith's team with an extraordinarily detailed description of what Trump was doing and what he was refusing to do as the U.S. Capitol came under attack. These are not Trump's critics. These are some of his most trusted aides. And according to sources familiar with the investigation, some of the most vivid and damning descriptions have come from Trump's longtime employee and current advisor, Dan Scavino. Dan Scavino has known Donald Trump since he was 15 years old. Worked for him for more than 3 decades, starting as his golf caddy. Nobody inside the White House, outside of family, had a closer relationship with him.
The great Dan Scavino, most powerful man in politics.
Scavino, who helped manage Trump's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook accounts, is also one of just a handful of people who were with Trump on January 6th as the attack on the Capitol was unfolding. The January 6th committee wanted to talk to him, but he defied their subpoena. After a court battle, he did finally talk to special counsel Jack Smith's team of investigators. Scavino's office was just outside the Oval Office, and sources familiar with the investigation tell ABC News Scavino told investigators he went in to see Trump as soon as he saw the violence had broken out at the Capitol. And he described Trump sitting in his small dining room next to the Oval Office, his arms folded, staring at the television, watching live coverage of the attack on Fox News. Trump was angry, Scavino told investigators, according to the sources, saying the election had been stolen from him and that his supporters were, quote, angry on his behalf. As has been described by the January 6th committee report, other advisors came in to see Trump as well, including White House lawyers, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and eventually his daughter Ivanka Trump, all urging him to make some kind of statement telling his supporters to leave the Capitol. The sources say Scavino described Trump as non-responsive and his demeanor as, quote, very unsettling as he continued staring at the TV. Soon, he told investigators, all of the advisors left the room, leaving Trump alone.
And it will stand in recess until the call of the chair.
It was while Trump was alone watching television that the Senate was forced to adjourn with rioters approaching. And Vice President Mike Pence rushed to a secure location beneath the Capitol just as Trump tweeted, quote, "Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country." When advisors told Trump the tweet sent the wrong message, Trump, one of the witnesses told investigators, said, quote, "But it's true." The tweet contributed to the anger of the crowd, some of the rioters chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." According to the sources, another White House aide, Nick Luna, told investigators that when he informed Trump that Pence had to be evacuated to a secure location because of the violence, Trump responded, quote, "So what?" Which, the sources say, Luna believed to show Trump was willing to let harm come to his loyal vice president. That's consistent with what Trump told me just a couple of months later about the threats to Pence.
Were you worried about him during that siege? Were you worried about his safety?
No, I thought he was well protected, and I had heard that he was in good shape. Mm-hmm. No, because I had heard he was in very good shape. But no,
you heard those chants. That was terrible. I mean, those,
he could have. Well, the people were very angry.
They're saying, "Hang Mike
Pence."
Because
it's common sense, John. It's common sense that you're supposed to protect. How can you, if you know a vote is fraudulent, right? Yeah. How can you pass on a fraudulent vote to Congress?
Another one of those with Trump, White House lawyer Pat Philbin, told investigators that as Trump was watching the attack on TV, he told his aides, quote, "This is what happens when they try to steal an election." The sources say Philbin responded, "Mr. President, it doesn't justify this."
George Soros, you can go to hell.
As the riot continued, Scavino told investigators, he said to Trump that the day's events were tarnishing his record as president. Quote, "This is all your legacy here, and there's smoke coming out of the Capitol." The Trump campaign is already responding to this exclusive reporting from the ABC News investigative team, giving us a statement saying, quote, "Media fascination with secondhand hearsay shows just how weak the witch hunt against Donald Trump is. Dan Scavino is one of President Trump's longest-serving and most loyal allies, and his actual testimony shows just how strong Trump is positioned in this case." It's important to note, George, the campaign did not dispute what you just heard there from Dan Scavino, that he said on January 6th that the attack would be Trump's legacy and that there was smoke coming out of the Capitol. In response to that, the campaign told us President Trump and Dan Scavino both agreed that it could be part of legacy, but regardless, wanted to get it done and did it. There is no dispute over that.
Well, that was just interesting to hear his inactions. And it was for hours and hours of inaction during that day. But that's not his only legal problems. He has a lot of legal problems. And then it'll be going to the Supreme Court. Several states have deemed the former President Trump, as ineligible to be on the ballot because he engaged in insurrection. And a lot of people are saying it doesn't say conviction. So it just says engaged in. And then there's theories is if is the president an officer of the United States. So, I mean, there's a lot of legal stuff to, I guess, go through for rulings. It's all going to go to the Supreme Court because it's all going to have effect on the primary. And I believe the first caucus of the primaries is January 15th, the Iowa caucus. But Trump is way ahead in the polls on the Republican side, and no one is really challenging President Biden. At least I think there's one person challenging him, and then there's Robert F. Kennedy that I believe is supposed to be a third-party candidate, and then there's supposed to be another organization out there that's looking to run a unity ticket. We're supposed to be a Republican and a Democrat president and a vice president candidate. So, I mean, this is going to be a very, very interesting election cycle. I mean, I did not vote for President Biden in the primary. I had voted someone else, but he won the primary, and I voted for him and supported him in the election, the presidential election, because obviously we didn't want Trump. And I've been surprised by a lot of the things that he did that I did not think that he would support, but we're there. No one's challenging him, so we're going to back the president and get him reelected if that's the will of the people. On a funnier note, there was forgot how many days ago, a couple of days ago, it came across my feed that Fox News, there was a host on there, Jesse Waters, on Fox News, that had a tarot card reader, psychic, on there, and they asked her to pull a card to give an interpretation of what's going to happen in the 2024 election cycle for Trump. So listen to this real quick.
The English psychic who is on set to give us a reading right now. I would like, Paula, for you to give me a reading on President Trump.
Just the one card?
One card.
One card. Let's do just one card. We like that one.
Oh. What is that?
I mean, I do recognize that I'm at Fox TV. I am a sense of loss. A sense of loss. But it's very specific. No, let me move on. It's a sense of loss. It's as if he may be thinking more about what he's lost and not still taking full advantage of what he still has.
That's a great interpretation, Paula.
True. It's true. I mean,
So the card that she pulled, it looked like the Grim Reaper. Didn't look like a very pleasant card at all. I don't know anything about tarot cards, but from what the internet says, and I'm reading this from a MSNBC article about this. Tarot readers often interpret the Five of Cups card as a signifier of things not going the way you hoped. So that's the card that psychic pulled on Fox News a couple of days ago. I think it's funny, but like I said, for us to make sure that is at least tied to the election, we got to do our work. We got to knock on doors, register voters, and do the ground game to make sure that applies to the 2024 election. Now, I guess the last thing I want to talk about is I think a great article that came out in the paper today. It was about the revitalization in Downtown Killeen, and the headline: Downtown Killeen reverses downtown fortunes with more than 70% occupancy rate, and that is because all of the hard work that city staff has done. The city hired a downtown revitalization director, Miss Kate, who's doing a great job. And then, obviously, all the support from the elected officials, city council, all of them, every single one of them care about downtown. I was on the comprehensive plan committee a couple of years ago, and the city is required to do a comprehensive plan for the next 10 years of the city. And that was part of the recommendation for the comprehensive plan, is to have a vibrant downtown, to invest in downtown and to bring businesses downtown. And part of that was, new construction, government construction. And I'd like to think that the Bell County, the new Killeen Annex that we're going to be building down there, will have some significant value added to downtown and the revitalization of downtown. I do know that there's supposed to be a bond that the city will be trying to put on the November election ballot, and on that bond there'll be a new city hall. And that new city hall should, fingers crossed, if everything goes well, be built and put in right across the street from the Killeen Annex. So it'll be right there where the old police station is now in downtown Killeen. So with I think what the plan is, from my understanding of with the city doing that, is that they want to consolidate all their services from that are spread out all across downtown Killeen and centralize that into one building. And then all those other buildings that the city now occupies, to sell those to businesses. So we could have more building space, because the city does occupy a lot of buildings in downtown. So I think what they're doing is great. We're adhering to the comprehensive plan and actually putting it to work. And the comprehensive plan considers North Killeen. That's pretty much anything north of I-14 as a infill area. It's a strong towns mentality. I've talked about strong towns before. They have great podcasts and books. Definitely, if you're in planning or on a planning and zoning commission or something like that, you definitely need to do some Strong Towns training. There's a free one on their website, Strong Towns 101, and it gives you a great baseline understanding of what makes a city fiscally sustainable and healthy. And it all has to do with growth, how you're growing, size of sidewalks, sizes of the roads, setbacks, zoning. All these things play into healthy, sustainable cities, counties, you name it. And it comes down to density. You got to have density, and that density will pay for everything. Older cities are in a grid system, like squares, town squares, gridded system, blocks, lots and blocks. And that is fiscally sustainable, not these large spread out subdivisions with these gigantic roads that you can land a jumbo jet on. That's not sustainable. And we see that here in Killeen whenever we had that ice storm and it just tore up the roads everywhere. You got to be able to pay for this stuff. But back to downtown, according to this article, that there are 76 buildings in the historic downtown area. and that 73% of those buildings are now occupied. So that is a good measure of success, because before they hired that downtown director, nearly 70% of the buildings downtown were vacant. So within a year, couple of years, 2 years of the downtown director being hired, they're turning that around. And now it says in her, well, I got an email from her because I own a building downtown, from Kate, that every day she receives emails from people and businesses wanting to buy something in downtown Killeen. So that, to me, that's showing that there's interest. There's people that want to spend money and invest and build in downtown Killeen, and the cities and the county are willing to help out anywhere they can. And the way the county, that like the downtown area for Killeen is in a it's called a TERS number 2, tax increment reinvestment zone. So the county is part of that TERS. I sit on that as a board member, as does Commissioner Bobby Woodson. And then there's some city council members on there. CTC school board is on there as well. And so what happens in the TERS is the money, the tax revenue that we get, it goes into that TERS fund, and then that TERS fund is used for investments in the TERS zone. It could be to help a business come in and upsize infrastructure that's required for that business. So it's things like that the TERS can be used for. But yeah, no, this is a great article that the city of Killeen Daily Herald did, showing that we are doing stuff in downtown, and you can see it. There's art that's starting to go downtown. There's it's a metal piece, says Killeen on it with the eye missing, and people go in there and take pictures with that that art piece and stand there where the eye is supposed to be. So it's that's really cool. And then there's some murals on the wall, that new murals on the wall that people have put up on the buildings, and even on the streets. There's some bricks on the streets and crossways that some volunteers went out and painted. So new buildings are being renovated. Buildings are being renovated downtown. Businesses are coming in. I was actually driving down Rancière yesterday, and there was a guy handing out leaflets to his business that he just opened up in the downtown area with 10% off. Come try us out. There's a new Thai restaurant place that I found through the Uber Eats app that opened up right there on Rancière. And the guy, he's military. He's about to retire, and his wife is Korean, and they got a Thai restaurant, and it's really good food. And I told them, I said, why did y'all choose this area of Killeen? And they just wanted to be close to the base to be able to take care of the soldiers during lunch and stuff like that. So yeah, I see it happening. I see people coming to the north side of Killeen. So that's only going to do great things for both the county and the city, increasing sales tax, increasing the tax base. I mean, employing workers. It's just going to have an exponential effect that activating that area and what it'll mean for the county and the city. So, yeah, a lot of work still to do, but we're definitely making progress on that front. And I know they have a Downtown Merchants Association, so I need to go meet with them and just give them an update of what's going on as far as the Killeen Annex is concerned. But great things are happening in downtown. It's getting noticed. Really don't even see that many. Used to be homeless was a problem. Not seeing that much homeless around that downtown area like you used to. They're more in between, I think, Avenue D and Rancier now. So kind of push them up. That for whatever reason they're not hanging out in the downtown area like they used to. But yeah, like I said, I'm excited for what is happening in the city. I'm excited for the 2024 elections. I'm excited for the podcast. I plan on having. I want to have every local elected Democrat that's running, and want to do a good interview with them. So be prepared to hear that. And yeah, a lot of work to do. So anyways, more to come. I appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you next week.